Okay, fellow YouTubers, all my subscribers and friends, I've got a new video for you. I believe these craft to be actually lightspeed craft. After many years of studying, looking at all these YouTube videos, by the way, I'm going to mention those black flashes in a second. This is how Soho releases the images. All you see are bright flashes and different things coming on the screen. I believe it's their way of putting out the information without covering it up and everything like that, because sometimes they do it, or they're just too lazy to cover them up, or sometimes they cover up so just blatant white squares or black squares on a screen. But it's not the flashes or anything on the little squares or anything that are concerning me, all those little planets that are just floating by, because those planets are actually planets, by the way. Or the background stars that we are passing in our rotation. Now, basically, you've got to remember that we are rotating, or Soho is rotating around the sun the same way. Or you see these little images, and I just missed one actually that I haven't actually put into the thing. I'll have to go back and find that one. But yeah, in the next video I'll drop that one in. But all those little flashes and everything you see in these bids are actual anomalies that actually do appear within the field of vision of the stereo and Soho. But notice that little white flash that's constantly happening up at the top of that little screen. It's just a little white flash. I actually believe that's a launching point for our sun for these same craft, because it does appear on certain images and doesn't appear. That's hence why you're getting that flashing effect. But it's always in that similar spot, or it's in a similar spot during a process. Now, we're going to start seeing all those flashes and everything. Now, I believe this is the energy of our sun creating our sundogs, because our sun creates sundogs the same as any other sun. We just see them as a brighter flash in the sky when we see them. That's the sun releasing its energy. See that little white dot down the bottom? Notice how it is actually now in a different position. But the thing is, it's that it is constant whenever these flashes are occurring. These flashing is basically our sun creating a sundog. I have actually witnessed one of these sundogs being created by a star and fairly wide past our planet, actually Christmas morn this year. I'm still trying to track down the Soho evidence on that one. But unfortunately, it's magically disappeared from stereo. Now you see those craft, you see multiple craft in this shot, and these are craft, and it has been speculated for years that we could use light to travel, and I believe this is basically, these are actually craft. Look at them, they are cylindrical objects going past. That was one luckily enough to be caught. And notice how there seems to be a pattern where there's two in some of them. In other words, it could be the way the craft are launched. It's they shoot them out basically like a rifle. As I've said in many of my videos, I believe our suns are mechanical devices, and basically I've been trying to find more and more evidence. I do have one photo which I've searched for years since I found it originally, and I've never been able to find it again. I lost it in a computer wipe, but I've still been looking for it. And but everything boils down to our suns being mechanical and being religious at doing different things. Now that's quite a large burst of energy coming out of our star, and this is our star, people. This is our sun. And these little images that you're seeing here, they're actual different images of the same thing at different times, with that little white dot appearing up the top, and I still can't work out what it is. Because you have to remember, now that white ring in the center of that's actually our sun, is that white ring. Now, light projects. Now, you're seeing light projections from our star in these images. And basically, it's you're seeing other things in the background. You see stars, and you see different things like this. Just something that has swooped past the Soho camera, and it's only been caught for a brief second. So that means it's travelling faster than the speed of light, especially the one that close. And basically what you're seeing here, again, is that little white dot that I'm telling you about on that little, around the black section in the sun. You're seeing planets, you're seeing other objects in the background. Then we start to see things like this within Soho images. This one I'm still trying to work out. But I believe that little object with the half moon may be something that our sun has just propelled out of the star. Now, there's a good one of these craft. Now, that one to me is an excellent one of these craft because you can see the shape of both the objects. They're similar in shape and they're both in the same direction. Now, here's the movie, so you can see the background. You're seeing everything that's happening once again, so you can see that I have taken it from a series of Soho images in alignment, and you can see that by the timer at the bottom. None of these images have been doctored or anything like that. They're all genuine Soho images. And it's amazing what we do see. And yes, there are many things that get cut out of Soho. Like, as I said, on the morning of Christmas morn, I saw a sundog so close to our planet. It was green. It had a centre, like, in the middle of it. And all the sundogs that I've seen in space through NASA telescopes, through NASA images, everything looked the same with the sundog. Yet, ironically, every ounce of data on both Soho, stereo, the 25th of December has been wiped. I can't find nothing. And to me, that says, okay, they know about that one because a lot of people in the world saw that one. A lot of people thought it was a giant meteor crashing to our planet. And it's basically, it's sort of, there's so much stuff going on out in space that they're trying to cover it up. They say that these shots are just to look at basically our sun. These shots are not just looking at their sun, they're just looking at what our sun does. In other words, these little flashes and why we're getting all this traffic in space. And we are getting traffic in space, but you're not being told about it, folks, until now, until people like me get out here and start telling you about it. I am just a researcher. I was a backyard astronomer that just decided to concentrate on the sun. And because I saw certain things in the sky, because I know everything I look at is either a nebula or something out in space, it's a star or something like that, but I noticed that when I was looking at them, they were never in the same place. I'd look at things that were in Google Earth, and I'd go and try and find, in Google Sky, I'd go and try and find them out in the sky. They're not in the same position. They're off by a large amount of degrees. And it takes some time to actually locate. You go by the directions on Google Earth, and okay, one star, it's in the position on Google Earth. You say you think you're actually looking at the correct position, yet when you go and look at it out in space, it's not actually there. So something got my goat and everything, and so I started truly looking. So I started using NASA resources many years ago, and I started finding anomalies. And it's only in the last year that I've started putting my research out, because I got ill and I was worried that if I didn't get my research out there that a lot of it would be missed. And no one ever know what I was up to over the years. So I decided to start putting out my research. And now when I get new information, I put it out straight away. And I'm still working on older research that I'm going to put out. But you only have to look at what I'm seeing here, folks. This is what says to me there is something out there in space. Our stars have an integral part. Now, see, even in the Bible, it actually states in the Bible that when we get to see a new heaven and new earth, we will travel from place to place in the blink of an eye. So, in the blink of an eye, well, that's light speed, folks, as far as I'm concerned. We'll see a new heaven and a new earth. So, either our star is going to move and we're going to go with it, or it's already happened. Basically, everything that's we're being told about different things is basically wrong. But I believe even the Bible is a guide to what we're actually starting to see now, because even in the Bible it says the mystery of the heaven will be revealed before we actually do get out there and before God comes back and everything like that. But hence the God, what we thought was God may not be what we expect. So I'm just basically putting every avenue out there for you, but I'm trying to back it up with some scientific research that things out there in heaven aren't what you think. They're not pretty little clouds with angels running around on little clouds. I'm sorry to tell you, they're going to be bloody spacecraft, folks. And anything that comes from heaven is going to be guaranteed to be in a spacecraft, because they've got to be able to breathe unless they've got a spacecraft. So hence, the concept of what we've been told over the years is a little bit wrong to what people conceive. And I think it's time that people grew up in all aspects of science, religion and everything, because the only way man is going to progress to travel at these speeds is to start accepting that these things are possible. You only have to look at all the images that I present to you. This craft that I'm going to presenting here, you look at it. They're travelling in an identical situation. It looks like they look like bullets. They look like bullets. They have, and when you think about it, when we fire a projectile, what's the shape of it? A bullet. So there's got to be something to all these shapes. Hence, a bullet travelling through space, you fired off a bullet in space, it would travel for it. It would travel until it was stopped or use something to slow down. In earlier videos, I've showed you comets that turn and things like that. It is actually these units, I believe it's the same thing, reaching their destination and turning around. I have seen pictures of images going, which I'm going to put up in one of my next few videos, of comets actually travelling as if they're travelling into the sun. Why would they deliberately travel into the sun? Because they're changing direction and they've got a propulsion system behind it. You can see it in the video. You can see the propulsion system in the video. So you've got to look at what's going on out there, why everything's happening, and you've got to start putting the evidence together for yourself, folks. You cannot sit back and say that we are the only life in the universe. We are the centre of the universe. God made us and God made us only. Bull crap. I'm sorry, but life is abundant in the universe, folks, and it's up to you. It truly is up to you to start believing in what's actually going on out there in the universe, folks, because now that the evidence is starting to come to light, now that we have more access to a lot of these images, the truth is going to finally start coming out, because it's time that we grew. And I believe it could be the reason that maybe that they did decide that release information and let us find the truth out for ourselves. Maybe they've actually woken up to themselves. I don't believe they have, but I believe half the images we're seeing at the moment, or I'm finding at the moment, are ones that have just been missed by lazy staff members, because most of the time they're just covered up, folks. And anything with a shape that is recognisable to us, like a flying disc or things like that, are generally covered up straight away, or spheres. And in my next video, you're going to see a planet that is actually in what looks to be an elliptical orbit, but not around our sun. It comes past our sun, and it looks as if the orbit is off, or the sun is off, because this thing goes in and comes around within the SOHO direction, or it could be going around the sun, but it is indefinitely not Jupiter. It's definitely something extremely large. And so yeah, you're going to see that in my next video, so get ready for that one and keep your eye out for that one. But when we're going back to all these things that were happening and everything in space, folks, you've got to start believing in what's actually going on. You notice it's always me talking in my videos, because I want people to understand the truth. I just don't want to put up their UFO found in space, then just put a whole heap of pictures there. I don't believe that's right. I believe that I should back it up with my theories and my thoughts, so that you can see what I'm seeing and understand my reasoning. Because I have reasoning to my thoughts. And like, if I'm going to tell you something that I found this or I found that, well, there's a reason why I'm doing it. And there is always a reason for something that goes on in space. There are craft out there, there are beings out there that are to our bewilderment. There's not just one. They travel in twos, Here it is there. Look at it. It's shaped like a bullet. That's being propelled by something. It's been shot out by something. Oh, yeah, a sun has done it. Here's two more travelling in a different direction, a lot closer to Soho. And they're just zooming past. And they're zooming, and I mean they're zooming. And there's multiple zooming. So, look, folks, leave it up to yourselves. Believe in the truth. Believe what you're seeing. I'm Anthony Avery signing off. These little images, and I just missed one actually that I haven't actually put into the thing. I'll have to go back and find that one. But yeah, in my next video I'll drop that one in. But all those little flashes and everything you see in these bids are actual anomalies that actually do appear within the field of vision of the stereo and Soho. But notice that little white flash that's constantly happening. I think that concerning me, all those little planets that are just floating by, because those planets are actually planets, by the way, or the background stars that we are passing in our rotation. Now, basically, you've got to remember that we are rotating, or Soho is rotating around the sun the same way. Or you see these bright flashes and different things coming on the screen. I believe it's their way of putting out the information without covering it up and everything like that, because sometimes they do it, or they're just too lazy to cover them up, or sometimes their cover-ups are just blatant white squares or black squares on a screen. But it's not the flashes or anything on the little squares or anything. Okay, fellow YouTubers, all my subscribers and friends, I've got a new video for you. I believe these craft to be actually lightspeed craft. After many years of studying, looking at all these YouTube videos, by the way, I'm going to mention those black flashes in a second. This is how Soho releases the images. All you see are up at the top of that little screen. It's just a little white flash. I actually believe that's a launching point for our sun for these same craft, because it does appear on certain images and it doesn't appear. That's hence why you're getting that flashing effect. But it's always in that similar spot, or it's in a similar spot during a process. Now we're going